Welcome, everyone, to episode 63 of Twitchy Tuesdays. Today, Three of Cups is here. We are celebrating all things Taurus. We have a Taurus new moon today. We're not going to talk about the new moon. We already did that in last episode, but we are here to celebrate underneath the new moon's energy and what that is bringing in for each one of us. Today's episode, though, is going to focus on all things Taurus energy, specifically when we get to and celebrate all things Taurus energy when we get to our chart chronicles. Before we do that in our Zodiac Spotlight, we're going to be honing in on Mercury as he gets into Taurus pretty soon, as well as Ceres's retrograde in Capricorn and Pallas Athene, who is already retrograde, heading back into Scorpio, and how those two energies can help us balance all of the luxurious energy that we are drowning in for the month of May. So let's go ahead and get us kicked off with cleaning out the broom closet. So, again, it's a day of celebration. It is a Taurus new moon happening at 8 degrees 2 arc minutes. Man, just the power of fun, the power of enjoyment, the power of loving the beauty and the luxuriousness of life. Here we are. Also today on 5/7, Mercury in Aries squares Ceres in Capricorn at 21 degrees 22 arc minutes. And we have one of our first pings in our new series of sextiling Saturn, which is our thoughtful insights. So the Sun in Taurus will sextile Saturn in Pisces at 17 degrees 10 arc minutes. And of course, just like these events, they were shown last episode. So, episode 62, we went through these Saturn sextiles at length. And I have already created Sabian explorations, which you can find on my Sabian exploration playlist on YouTube or in the highlights section if you are on X. So let's see what we got for here we go. Six of Wands. So, thoughtful insights, thoughtful placements, thoughtful movements forward, thoughtful ways to provide the structure. Saturn is all about our grand mastery, all about the climbing of, having that Capricornian style of influence, providing our boundaries. I love that there's the boundaries with the wands here. But really, it's that self achievement. What are you able to achieve? What are you able to celebrate in your life? And as all of these planets and Taurus, which are bringing things down onto the earth, with this sextile, not only is it celebration time, but it's celebrating your achievements and what you've been able to bring forward thus far. Then on 5/8, we get a day to integrate the energies, integrate this knowledge, integrate this celebration. Maybe you drank a little bit too much mead and, all of 5/8, you've got a little bit of a hangover. Perfect. It's perfect. We love that. 5/9, we have Pallas Athene retrograde in Sag, so still in Sag, sextiling Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. That will happen at 2 degrees 6 arc minutes. Let's get a card for that. Ooh, woo. Them Eight of Wands, these sextiles, they be bringing in the information. They are, this whole month of May is a lot of insights, a lot of information, a lot of shifts occurring, even if we don't really know where or how those shifts are going to occur. But there is something here. And when we talk about Pallas Athene and her getting back into Scorpio, there is this energy, especially with Pluto retrograde, around like the problem solving and strategic thinking. How are you dealing and looking at it from a higher perspective since she's still in Sagittarius? How are you looking at all that's occurred since Pluto has been in Aquarius? How have you looked at all that's occurred because Pluto is headed retrograde back to that last anaretic degree of Capricorn, the last time, unless we begin to live for 250 plus years, the last time in our lifetime. What have you learned? What things have you gained? What new movements forward? What accomplishments have you been able to celebrate? How are we moving forward? All right, then on 510, Venus and Taurus will sextile Vesta in Cancer, 13 degrees, 26 arc minutes. And here, is this the Emperor? Nope, this is the King of Pentacles. Here's the King of Pentacles, this Venus in Taurus. Here we have Vesta in Cancer. Cancer really ruling the home and the hearth, Vesta's energy within that realm. And with Venus in Taurus, it is about the luxury. It is about the things that are grounding us in. And the sextile to Vesta in Cancer is how is your home environment? How is your hearth? How is your, um, how is the aesthetics I'm hearing? How is the, again, this another word, mastery, right? With Saturn still kind of pinging up everywhere, because Venus is working her way to her sextile with Saturn, which you'll see here on 513. So there's already this budding energy of, you know, where's the mastery around your home? Around your, finances, the Taurian things in life, around your sensory and how you feel inside of your home. How does your home make you feel? And then on 511, the Sun in Taurus will trine Ceres in Capricorn. Ceres is not retrograde yet. She is almost there. That will happen on the 15th, which we will talk about today. Woo! Judgment coming out. Look at Gabriel. Look at this one. This deck is so wonderful. Look at Gabriel and his horn and just the fire in the hair. Like, I love that it's the sun, this representation of the sun up here with that kind of fiery golden hair. The sun in Taurus, trining Ceres in Capricorn. Ceres talking about, especially within our physical worlds, still pinging. Ceres in Capricorn, Ceres is the higher, which we'll talk about in a second, is the higher vibration of Venus. It's the higher vibration of all of those Taurian energies. So here is another perspective on how, again, a judgment, because it is a trine. So it's this supportive judgment of being able to look and say, you know what? How are you caring for your physical world? How are you caring for your body? How are you caring for your financial means? How are you caring for your self-worth? What things have changed? What things need adjustment? And this is happening, what? The 11th? The 15th is when Ceres pulls retrograde. So she is slowing down already to station retrograde and head back. So here's this opportunity for the sun to place illumination, blow the horn on all that's happening down in here, all that's happening in your physical world with your body, with your spirit, with your, again, it's all of the Taurian things with your money, your self-worth, your values, and all of that, and go, hey, hi, hi, this is what you're going to need to look at when I turn retrograde. These are things that are going to need to be revisited, renewed, rejuvenated. Gabriel blowing his horn, needing to put new energy and life into the things that are important for you now. I'm hearing there's a like a retribution, like a freeing. It's a double 10. It's like there's no other. Look at these people. There's no other. It's time. Whatever, like I know that they're in a boat here, or they're in coffins, actually. They're coming out of coffins. Yeah, it's like coming out of that hibernation, coming out of the stuck patterns that you're in. That your calling is here. Your calling is here and it's higher than you ever imagined. All right, then on 512, because we'll need that, right? 512, we need that. We need this moment of like, okay, that was a lot. I heard the call. I heard my calling me, and I need a moment to like take in what this means. On 513, This is where we start moving in these Taurus energies. It really starts in this Taurus new moon. We'll get to that when we get to the chart chronicles. But this 513 and onward, we are in it. We're in the ride. We cannot get off. There is no stopping once we hit this 513 mark. This is where we have the Uranus Cazimi. Woo! And that Queen of Swords coming out. We have the Uranus Cazimi at 23 degrees, 6 arc minutes of Taurus. Now, here is that second thoughtful insights. Venus in Taurus sextiling Saturn in Pisces, 17 degrees, 40 arc minutes. And then we have Vesta in Cancer squaring the North Node in Aries at 14 degrees, 54 arc minutes, allowing Vesta and that nurturance and the waters of Cancer to put a little balm on all that's happened in April for us. Put a little balm on the massive energies, the massive shifts. Again, put a little balm. You have been called, you have been awakened. The truth of the matter is coming forward. And you know what? In Cancer, apply this tough love. Vesta in Cancer can apply the truth, but in a way that is so nurturing, so rewarding. It's like that when your mom, that motherly love, when your mom tells you, like, hey, there might have been this, I've been disappointed, or hey, this is really challenging and you are going through it, but know that I'm here and that I love you and that your love resides with me. I'm going to support you. I'm here to hold you. I'm here to hold space for you. I can't do the work for you. I can't, I'm not going to sugarcoat what you're going to go through. I'm not going to sugarcoat what potentially might happen. I'm not going to sugarcoat the facts of what is occurring, but I am here to do it in a loving and nurturing manner. All right. Here we roll. So that is what we are going to be experiencing, the energies we're going to be experiencing this week. So let's head over now to our Zodiac Spotlight, where we are going to start with Mercury in Taurus. And just as an FYI, like mm, the cards, I shuffled the deck and I'm just pulling one card off the top, each one. That's how they want these messages to come out today. So, Mercury and Taurus. Mercury's ingress into Taurus will occur on the 15th. So, not in this Twitchy Tuesday week, but in the following week. Here, Mercury is able to get down to concrete thoughts. Three of Pentacles. He's able to get down to concrete thoughts, really taking on the nuts and bolts, which I love that the Three of Pentacles is here because look, the the nuts and bolts of how you're going to approach the conversation. So, I mean, look at this card in its own right. So, we have two individuals right here holding the schematics of whatever this church, whatever you are building, they're holding the blueprints of. And they notice that you're kind of like maneuvering up here. And it's like, I don't know, that doesn't exactly look like the blueprints look. And here you are having to have communication, thoughts, ideas. Um, you have to just let them know that you've got this. Got this. I know what I am doing. I know how to do this. So just there used to be a time when I would be getting my nails done and depending upon the person, but for years, like in my 20s, for years, even a little bit in my 30s, I would sit down to get my nails done and I would have such anxiety during the process. I would be looking at what they were doing and I was like, that's not the shape I want. That's not going to turn out how I wanted it to turn out. That's not going to do what it needs to do. I don't know how this is all going to come together. And through my work and my own self work in that journey, I realized that it was another opportunity for me to learn how to trust the process. Trust in what is happening, trust in what is occurring, because no matter what, I honestly have never had like a horrible nail. Like it, when you really looked at it, it may have been maybe didn't turn out like the design didn't turn out how I wanted a little bit. Like I had a different picture in my head, but I was never really like unhappy. Even when I was like really anxiety ridden during the process of everything. And what I was able to work through was my own need to control situations. So uh, you guys don't need to control what this situation is, those outside influences. She, my nail tech, guy or girl, did not need me to help them do my nails. They are the professional. They did not need me to be over here being like, I don't know if that's going to turn out right. Trust the damn process. Sit there, enjoy, relax, be in a moment, enjoy what is occurring. Let me create, let me take control for you. So that way you can just allow things to unfold. It's going to turn out better than you even realized. We have threes here. This is spirit, your ancestors talking. Allow them to take control of that creative, of the situation. Allow it to flow through you. Don't try to like, wait, hold on. I want that energy. I want to put it over here. I want to put it over there. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And by the time your nails get done, look at these stunners. You got it. You got it. Just let the process happen. Let the process happen. So with Mercury and Taurus, and where this is all kind of coming from is you have to be willing to communicate to yourself what's actually occurring. You have to have concrete insights and thoughts. And that's what Mercury and Taurus can bring. So, this blueprint was created with Mercury's retrograde and Mercury's whole, time in Aries. It's that fire of creativity, it's the fire of starting something new, the fires of our desires. And that's what this blueprint is. And now in Taurus, you actually get to be practical, down to earth. The ideas get to take shape and form. They're not wild concepts anymore like they were in Aries. And with how methodical Taurus is, you know, Mercury is able to be incredibly deliberate and incredibly considerate with the decisions that he is making. He's able to take time to actually do it right. And again, quelling this desire to take control, quelling that's what if we looked at it like this is you, this is that shadow side of you, quelling that shadow side's desire to want to be in control, to want to, have it look a certain way or have it come out a certain way, or, hey, I want to change these blueprints because these blueprints don't look right. Blueprints are what they are. We may have to ebb and flow depending, maybe some of my maybe some of like I wanted to put redstone, but redstone is no longer available. So yeah, there may be some pivots, but allow the process to unfold. There is a strong focus on productivity for long-term success. This church that he is building, whatever these blueprints are that you are building, is here for a long time. We're not building anymore just to have things come down a year later. This is long-term success, and that groundwork here with Mercury and Taurus, while he transits Taurus, can be made very strong, sensible, like it can be great. Now, here is something that I will say. Discernment is a wonderful Taurian word. Discernment is needed as planets go through Taurus because Taurus, in its own right, can be a little sticky, be a little fixed, can dig in its heels, and there is a fine line between steady and stubborn. Stubborn is is like this individual, you going, you don't have anything to add. I'm the motherfucking expert here. Shut up. That's stubborn. hold on, you don't know what they have to add because you're not even willing to hear anything. Steady is to be able to be in your power, know what you know, but being open minded enough to hear other people's opinions and discern what the right path is forward for you. Holding steady to your values and your insights and your idea, but still being flexible enough to go, you know what? You're absolutely right. Like I get that the red brick was what we wanted, but you're right. We could get white brick and paint it red. Oh my gosh, thanks for bringing that in. Didn't even think about that. I thought we were just going to have to do white brick and I was going to change my whole process with that. So it is being willing to have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Being able to still make decisions, not being stuck in taking it's not analysis paralysis where you have so many like in Virgo where you have so many options you don't know which one to choose. It's taking too much time to make your choice that then the choice that you want to make is may not be available any longer to you. It's a great time to think before you speak and really settle and define your values. In this scenario that we're looking at here, Mercury does not have to, like, there's such power, and I have been practicing this over the last year. There's such power in just going, when somebody wants to come up and provide you with their insight and opinion on things that you're doing, to just go, okay, thanks for that, and walk on. Not having to defend yourself or your reasons, just saying, okay, like great example of this. My best friend and I were talking and we were talking about travel sizes for trips because she's going on a bunch of trips. I travel all the time. She was like, "Yeah, I didn't get the travel sizes because, like this and this." And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, I buy travel sizes because the 3 ounces, sometimes my things are over or under and it just works. It's easier for me to just have a travel bag, a travel size, then I don't have to worry about it. And she was like, well, travel sizes are 4 ounces. And I was like, I think they're three. And she was like, and I go, you know what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't, it honestly does not matter the size of travel. We don't have to sit here and defend our opinions. It doesn't matter the size that you're allowed to travel with. The fact is that that's why I have a travel bag and buy travel sizes. So that way I don't have to rely on whatever ebb and flow of the TSA rules are for travel. Don't need to deal with it. And I just went, okay, yeah, could be four. No big deal. No big deal at all. Off we go. This is great Mercury and Taurus energy. All right. Layering on to this conversation is our next line item, Ceres retrograde in Capricorn. So Ceres is another goddess asteroid. She is associated with Demeter in ancient Greek mythology. She represents themes related to our physical world, including our bodies and how we care for them, our eating habits, and how they need to change during our life cycle changes. During different phases in life, you need different things. Our financial matters, including acquisition, saving, spending, budgeting. And she also rules over self worth related to our contributions in the world. Obviously, what does that sound like? It sounds like Venus and Taurus, right? It sounds like Taurian energy. It sounds like Venusian energy. And it is true. Ceres is the higher archetypal aspect of Venus. And if you really want to just look at it straight from a Greek mythology perspective, Demeter is the mother of Persephone. And Persephone is who is the archetypal alignment with Venus. So very much similar energy here. But Demeter being the crone or the mother, not the maiden, which is where Venus resides in, especially when she's in Taurus, can provide that higher level of understanding, can provide a little bit more wisdom, etc. So on May 15th at 12, woo, King of Cups. On May 15th at 12:36 a.m. Central, she is going to be stationing retrograde at 21 degrees 33 arc minutes of Capricorn. And I love that the sovereign archetype is here, very much Ceres energy, but I do love that it's masculine because it ties together the Capricorn. It is the balance of feminine and masculine energies that Ceres is here to help you work with. So when she stations, this is going to be a whole thing. When she stations, she will be trining Venus and Uranus in Taurus. Yes. So she'll be having this open line of communication to the energies that are happening in Taurus and all the things that you are working on in your Taurian place of your chart, being able to bring it into the Capricorn energies of self mastery in those areas. She will also be squaring Chiron when she stations retrograde. So now here is a whole other layer where all of the shit that went on in April, all of the things that Chiron has been working with in the series of fortunate events for you, all of that she has now insight into. Chiron is demanding her attention, demanding her ability to look at the physical world, look at our bodies, our eating habits, our health, look at our financial matters, look at all of these things and apply that self mastery to it. So, good things to focus on during her retrograde is financial challenges, any sort of challenge that you are going through in the financial sector, health and eating habits for your current phase in life, and your self worth. Those are all really wonderful things as she's doing her retrograde to focus on. Because at the end of the day, even with this King of Cups here, Ceres is all about the cups going inward to see how the choices that you have made are affecting your life. That is her MO. She needs you, just like your sovereign, your king, your archetypal energy of the sovereign needs you to take accountability for your life, accountability for your choices. And in that, that's the first step. I need to take accountability with where I'm at in my life. Let me go inward. Let me look at my choices. Let me take accountability for those choices. And then Cirrus can really begin her work. But you can't even get an audience with her until that occurs. So now that that's occurred, what will she do? She's going to be able to give you guidance, wisdom, insight into how to reevaluate your situation and allow that situation and new choices to be able to spearhead um, a time of growth and improvement. And Pallas Athene is going to come in Scorpio and add another layer to this story. But I want to just give an example before we get into Pallas Athene, which again, coloring on to it. So, an example of how this might show up again, it's your natal chart, what you're going through personally. All of these things definitely play a part. But an example might be you've experienced some financial difficulties recently, um, or you've made some poor financial decisions. And you now are at this precipice where you are reflecting and looking back and seeing the consequences of your choices. Okay, that was me. Remember, you can't even get an audience until you go, I see where my choices have led me to be in this moment. Okay, I own that. I take accountability for it. So then Cirrus will come in and will you get an audience and it's thoughtful questions. Let's review your financial situation. Let's review your budget. Let's review your spending habits. Let's put things into place. Yes, it's going to be tough for a little bit, but you can do it. Again, it's that Vesta nurturing energy. And then helping to seek ways to improve your financial well-being, whether that's with, a financial coach. Maybe you have, and this is where Pallas Athene and Scorpio can come in. Maybe you have money issues, energetic money things, shadow things that you need to work through, and maybe a therapist might help you out with. Maybe it's listening to some Dave Ramsey podcasts and like getting some of that work done. Whatever it needs to be, there are ways to improve your situation, and it's the diligent work to do so that you need to apply so Ceres can continue to work with you in adjusting, maneuvering, etc. And then on top of that, it's reflecting on your self-worth and the value that you bring to the world through your authenticity. So if you have planets, points, or luminaries in your natal chart between 7 and 21 degrees of the mutable signs, that's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, Ceres is going to work with you more directly because that is her retrograde period. She'll start at 21 and some arc minutes and head back to 7 degrees and some arc minutes. All right, now let's bring in Pallas Athene's retrograde into Scorpio. So she is already retrograde in Sag. She's ingressing back into Scorpio. Pallas Athene, or just Pallas, is the goddess asteroid of wisdom, creative intelligence, strategy, and healing. She takes her name from the Greek goddess of wisdom and justice, same name, and represents how we approach learning, creativity, and problem solving. So, wherever Pallas is in your natal chart, it helps to reveal your attitude towards your mental accomplishments and your healing abilities. So, given the fact that there's wisdom, creative intelligence, strategy, and healing now available, when Pallas gets back into Scorpio, which will happen on the same day, right? I believe so. Let me hold on. I had all these down and then they have escaped me. I am pretty sure it is on the 13th. It's on the 16th. So May 16th is when she heads back. So it's the day after Ceres turns retrograde and Mercury heads into Taurus. So all of these conversations will happen, and then Pallas Athene can come in with her infinite wisdom, and especially in Scorpio. Woo! Look at that. Wow. Look at the lovers. Hello. All right, then. I love it. That up there, welcome Pallas Athene to Scorpio. So when she's in Scorpio, she gets to infuse, and I love that there's like this infusion with our male, feminine and masculine aspects here. She gets to infuse us with an intensity and a very focused approach to problem solving and strategic thinking. It is truly seeing underneath the surface of things and getting to root causes. Why are you two here? Why are you naked? What do we need to do? What's happening here? How do we balance? How do we unify? How do we harmonize back to where we need to be? And with all of the things going on, let's go back to our example with the financial difficulties. Here now comes Pallas, and she can go, whoa, 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 hold on, you ain't going deep enough. You're not pulling up by the root. We don't need that root to stay in here and fester and get an infection that we're going to have to clean up again. Let's get this shit done once and for all. Let's get to the root and let's do it quickly and efficiently. You get to see um now then pulling things up by the root, while that might be very tender, it might be a little painful, it might be a little scary, it does help facilitate even better healing when you uncover those hidden truths, those mysteries, that root, and pull it up from the end. Again, think about when you pull weeds up from the root in your garden or in your lawn or whatever that looks like, if you don't get it up from the root, they grow back. They'll grow back anyways. Yes, I know that because of, but just work with me here. So, but if you grab it up by the root, yeah, there's a hole left in the dirt, but guess what happens? That dirt gets filled up pretty quickly. Nature has a way of taking care of itself. Your body has a way of taking care of itself. Um, so during this retrograde phase, you may find yourself, and I love that the lovers is here with, I mean, this energy up at top. You may find yourself revisiting past strategies that have worked for you. Do they apply now? You may be finding yourself with healing methods. How have those worked in the past? You need to go back to some of those and creative approaches to things. The other thing that I just saw here, cannot believe I didn't even recognize this. This is like obviously the depiction of Adam and Eve. Here's the snake, here's the tree, here's the apple, right? Wow. Well, during this whole time, we're not going to get into who Algol is or anything like that, like deep into it. But during this period is when Jupiter and Uranus are going to be hitting up Algol at 26 degrees, which is a fixed star. But Algol is of Taurus, excuse me. But Algol is often associated with the archetype of Medusa. Pallas Athene has Medusa on her shield. Pallas Athene was the one that gave Demeter, not Demeter, excuse me. Pallas Athene was the one that gave the instructions to, I think it was Perseus. Perseus? I think it was Perseus. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, please. Community notes me, thank you. Um, but she gave the order to behead Medusa. So here we go. All things are aligning. That's why you can't like look the synchronicity, right? And so now Pallas Athene has on her shield the head of Medusa. So all things are happening. Um, use this time to explore hidden aspects of your psyche, uncover deep truths, and refine your problem solving skills. Reflect on how you've handled your challenges up to this point and consider any adjustments. You can't handle situations in the future with the same thought process that you used in the past. We've got that whole Albert Einstein thing here. There needs to be different approaches, right? You can't go back and eat the second apple on the tree. If you look at the masculine side here, the tree done burned up. It's gone. You don't have the ability to go back to that, the way that you handled that challenge again. You can't change it. That's how you handled it. That's part of what radical accountability is all about, and taking that radical ownership in your life. I can't go back and change the past. I can change how I respond when situations or other things like this come up in the future. Make the adjustments. All right, let's get to our chart chronicles. Let me get up this. So you are not going to see all the fun colors. We're not going to do any coloring on this chart because this chart is actually animated. We are going to go down a journey through May. We'll touch a little bit into July. Stick with me. And when I sat down to write out and really think about what I wanted to do for this episode's chart chronicles, wow. Like a whole story unfolded. I couldn't even believe where it took me, and I'm excited to bring you down the same journey. So this segment, Chart Chronicles, is still in development. If you have any suggestions or you'd like me to do different things with the chart, let me know. I would love to have you put that in comments, whether that's on YouTube or X, and we can see what we can make happen. All right. So this chart chronicles is focused on all of our Taurus clusters. Taurus energy is fucking loud in May. There are no other words to use but fucking loud. Even when we get into Gemini, when the sun moves into Gemini, which is right here, this is the Gemini glyph. Even when the sun heads into Gemini, it's still loud. Jupiter, the 25th, gets into Gemini. Here's Jupiter, the 25th, will be in Gemini. Still loud. It really isn't until June when finally all of this energy begins to break apart that we get a little bit of ringing in the ears lessens a lot. So this is present for the month of May. And here is what Spirit gave me. We are in a cuckoo clock of expansion and change. And that cuckoo clock is going to be chiming expansion and change over and over and over and over again through the month of May and this Taurus cluster story. It is not even just about like one cuckoo clock going off. This is about multiple cuckoo clocks going off all at once, simultaneously. Maybe one starts a second later, right? Because clocks, if you know analog clocks, they all get a little out of, get a little out of whack from each other, no matter how much you synchronize them. So this month is all about coming back to this Jupiter, which is right here, and Uranus conjunction, which is right here, that occurred on 4/20. So that was April 20th when Jupiter and Uranus conjoined. And so this is for May 13th, but at that conjunction, we're going to start on May 7th with the new moon in Taurus, which the new moon means that the moon and the sun are conjunct. So they'll be right around in here in Taurus. The moon will then hit Uranus, Jupiter. The sun will then hit Uranus, Jupiter. Venus, which is right here, will then hit Uranus and Jupiter. All in Taurus will all hit the 21-degree 50-minute mark of where Jupiter and Uranus conjoined on 4/20. And then Mercury and Mars, our other personal planets, will come in, hit the 2150-degree mark of the conjunction, will then hit Uranus in Taurus, and then Mercury and Mars will meet up with Jupiter in Gemini. So, woo, that is a lot of cuckooing going on. That is a lot of expansion and change, all being hit up by our personal planets. How we think, how we feel, how we see, how we take action on all of these things. So, the 21-degree 50-minute mark, that is important. That is where that Uranus Jupiter conjunction on 4/20 happened. You will want to find that in your natal chart. What house or houses does that impact? And every time one of these, whether it's the moon, the sun, Venus, Mercury, or Mars, hits over that point, it is going to click the mechanism into place that creates the chime in your cuckoo clock of life. Not only will you hear that, but it is going to cause a ripple effect and cause other clocks around you to go off as well. Because it isn't just about, again, hitting the 2150-degree mark, it's also about hitting Jupiter and Uranus in those conjunctions as well. So as I was working with all of this energy, what came out but Pink Floyd Time? I was so called to play because there's at the beginning of that, for those that already know this song, the beginning of the song, it's all about the clocks chiming and going off. It's like you're in this room of clocks. And then comes in the music, and it is a wonderful representation. In fact, from the new moon to the end of May, this is the theme song for me. So I played it as I was going through this story that we're about ready to get into, and as we animate this chart. It's great for visualization and oralizing. So if you're more, you need to hear it to understand and to get that visual picture of what this time frame is going to be like. I will put a link to a YouTube video I found of a 2019 live performance of this in the description box and on X. So you can check that out. Obviously, there's a bunch of other Pink Floyd, like live at Wembley Stadium with this. I encourage you to check out any and all of them and get into that vibe. All right, so let's talk about this cuckoo clock of expansion and change. So, May 7th, today, as you are watching this, will be the first chime set off by this new moon in Taurus. I don't have the chart for that right now. This is actually the May 13th chart for the Uranus Cazimi, which you can see right down here. But just know that today, your first chime has already went off. And expansion and change. Since that conjunction, boom, here we grow. Then on May 13th, you have this beautiful Uranus Cazimi right here. 23 degrees, 6 arc minutes. So you'll want to find that again, this Taurus area of your chart, your natal chart, super lit up right now. This is important to like really ground in what's coming up for you. Now, this is why it's so loud in May. Because not only is this enough, like this is enough in its own right. The fact that we've got this Uranus Cazimi right here happening at 23 degrees, 6 arc minutes. But there's more. Here's your second cuckoo clock on the exact same day. Mercury is here at 27 degrees, 13 arc minutes, which I am confirming right now. I am very positive that this is the exact degree where Mercury stationed retrograde. I'm sorry, his out of his shadow phase. So let me see, 2713 on the motherfucking nose. You really can't make this up. This is literally the exact time and transit chart for this meetup. It just so happens that Mercury literally exits his shadow at this exact same moment. And wouldn't you know it, Venus at 17 degrees, 7 arc minutes is sextiling Saturn at 17 degrees, 37 arc minutes. So their exact sextile, let me get back here, will happen. This is the 13th. Just to give you order of operation, the sun will conjunct Uranus first at 4:13 a.m. Central Time. Venus and the sextile with Saturn goes exact at 2:45 p.m. Central Time the same day. So very much in the same degree, not at the same arc minute, still very, very potent. That's May 13th. Ding, 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 cuckoo, cuckoo, all of these different cacophony of noises. Then we head to the 18th. So let me animate the chart to the 18th and let me get the exact 6:40. Hold on, let me get the exact time on here. All right. So, May 18th, this is a Saturday. And it is a whole fucking day. This might be one of my favorite days in May. This day is massive, and I am super excited to get to this energy. This is the day when the clocks are going to be very, very loud, and they are going to last for a very, very long time. All of the chimes of expansion and change get blown up on the 18th. And here is why. Here is where you want to look for Venus and Uranus. This is their conjunction day. If it wasn't enough that they were conjunct, they are also conjunct at 23 degrees, 23 arc minutes. 2323. Somebody pop in the chat about the numerology of that. Definitely something to place insight into. Go look at the angel number for that. So not only do we have Venus and Uranus at 2323 conjoining, literally same day, a few hours later, look at this. The Sun and Jupiter conjunct at 28 degrees. So it will be 6:40 a.m. Central Time when Venus conjuncts Uranus. It is 1:45 p.m. Central Time when the Sun and Jupiter conjunct exact, but they are conjunct by degree, not by arc minute, but by degree when this is happening. If that wasn't enough, there is more. But wait, there's more. Up here are our friends Mars and the North Node. And wouldn't you fucking know it, they are also conjunct. So this is our series of fortunate events. We have these Taurus clusters slowing down to speed up. And then out of all of this whole chart, there is a forming, which won't ever go exact, but there is within orb range a kite. So what that kite looks like is, if you can see these trines here. So we have Pluto in Aquarius at 2 degrees, 2 arc minutes, another 2, another angel number, retrograde in Aquarius, trining the moon, which is at 0 degrees of Libra. Beautiful. The moon then trines all of, you can see it kind of right here. Again, these aren't exact, but trines all of the energy at the 28-degree point where Jupiter and the sun are kissing each other. Just mwah, there you go. Then all of that energy is sextiling Neptune at 29 degrees, 23 arc minutes. So there's a sextile to deep Taurus energies, the sun and Jupiter. And there is also a sextile from Neptune to Pluto. So this is what creates the kite. You know, you've got this V shape, then you've got the double sextiles. You do have this kind of like off kiltered middle part. That's why it's not an exact kite. You're kind of missing this line going across here. However, it is still energy that is present. It's budding. It's kind of like your kite's not exactly like, it's maybe it's not catching the wind, maybe the wind died down, but you got it. You got these things moving for you. Um, all right. Yes, the wheel of fortune. So I love this. I love that this is here. I love that all energies are present, right? In this card. Oh, I can't even see all. In this card, all of the energies of the zodiac are, all of the energies of the elements are present in this card. All of the energies of the swords, all of the different minor arcanas are present in this card. And in this chart, all things are present. All things are here. All things are energetic, right? We've got the air, we've got the earth, we've got the water, and we have that. Even though it's not within the kite itself, the fire is there with all of this energy in Aries. This developed, like, again, it's almost like this would be the kite, and then here's the fire coming up underneath it, providing that support and that buoyancy, providing that heat to allow, again, think about I just got the image of a hot air balloon. How does a hot air balloon fly? How does this hot air balloon get up into the air? It's through that heat that helps it rise. All right, let me get back to this chart so that way we can talk about this kite and all of these energies and this world card coming up in here, the Wheel of Fortune, excuse me. All right, this is a lot of fun. Like the 18th, It kind of looks a little scary. I when I was feeling into this, I was like, are we sure that this is fun? Like, mm, I don't know. I had to take a moment. And then I got the imagery and I got the the fun part of what this is really about. So, it is surprising fun. We've got Uranus very potent in here. It's surprising fun. It's heart pounding fun. It reminds me of the moment before I've never skydived, but just from hearing people's experiences, the first time skydiving where you are about ready to jump off the plane, right? Like the doors open and you're like sitting down, scooching forward, and like that moment before you dive off, and then you dive off, and it's like the most amazing experience in life. That is what this day feels like. Does not mean that there isn't apprehension, does not mean that there isn't gut tightening, butterflies in the stomach, heart pounding, does not mean that that's all not there, but it is worthwhile and it is exciting and it is super fun energy. So the image that they gave me and how to work through this was of the Tower of Terror at Disney. And I know at Disneyland, I think it's something else now, the Avengers one, but I got the Tower of Terror because it's terror. Right? Like I thought that it was probably that word is like, okay, yep, let's own that. And if you've never been to Disney, think about any drop tower at an amusement park, something that takes you all the way up to the top and then drops you real fast. It is this sort of energy. So let's work through this story and I'll kind of show in the chart going through this story where each of these energies pings. So on the Tower of Terror, here's our world coming out, right? It's going to change our world. Love this ride. You get in your little box, right? You get in the box and you sit down in your row. If any of you ever go on amusement rides with me, I will wait the extra time to sit in front. I am a front seater. No shame. Not going to apologize for that in any way, shape, or form. You don't like it? Don't ride an amusement. Don't ride in amusement parks with me. I want to be up in the front. I want to experience it all. I love roller coasters, love these sorts of things. So, get into the front, get into my row, get into my seat. I get strapped in, and on the Tower of Terror, the fucking thing's only a lap belt. I'm like, really? This is okay. Not sure how this is going to work, but all right, we're going to let this go. So you get strapped in. The ride isn't really started yet, but your anticipation is just turning your stomach in knots. That is the moon. You're reeling inside. The moon anchoring that reeling in into that Libra energy. You've got your people around you. Maybe you are riding the ride with friends and loved ones, people you have relationships with. But regardless, what you realize is y'all are going through this experience together. Anybody on this ride, no matter if you know them or not, is having this experience with you. And here is that Libra moon energy. Then the ride starts and you start going around, and it's this whole storyline that unfolds. There's sensory things, there's storylines, there's visuals that get played out. And if you are an amusement park fan, Universal does really, really great at sensory perception rides. That to me all aligns with all of this Taurus energy over in this quadrant over here. All of that Taurian energy is where your senses start picking up things as you are on this ride, whether that's visual, taste, feeling, maybe the hairs are rising. You're kind of like, oh, here we go. You feel the movement of the ride, the cart that you're in, or the elevator that you're in if you're on Tower of Terror. Um, and as the story goes along, you end up beginning to rise. You start rising, your heart, so you're like, shit, it's about about ready to get dropped, y'all. You know it's coming. Just like Pluto in Aquarius. You know Pluto in Aquarius is coming. That shit ain't changing. We can do nothing about it. Once he gets back into Aquarius, it's donezo. We have full Pluto in Aquarius. 20-ish years. We're done. That's it. So here you know what's going to happen. You start to rise, and then all of a sudden you rise up to this point, and these doors open, the elevator doors open if you're on the Tower of Terror, and you get to see out into the world. You get to see how high you are. More Pluto in Aquarius. They snap this fantastic picture of you, and your shit literally drops. Boom, you go down, you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, you go up, you go, all the things. All of that is this Pluto and Aquarius energy, this ebb and flow of transformation, the ups and downs of transformation. Now, right before you drop, I said the elevators open. Same thing on drop rides if you're at another amusement park. You get all the way up to the top, and there is this moment of suspense where you get to see from a higher perspective. Here is the Neptune in Pisces, especially at the anaretic degree point. You now see from a higher perspective. But what do you see? Are your eyes even open? Relax. Put your hands down. Or shit, put your hands up in the air. Have your neighbor next to you, even if you don't know them, right? Get that excitement. Feel the experience. Oh my gosh, what am I doing right now? Get ready to scream and let it out. There's this moment of like, again, it's just suspension. It's so much unfiltered and undulated joy. Now, the ride comes over and you're done. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do after the ride? If you didn't have your eyes open, you were just experiencing it for the first time and you're like, oh, I didn't get to see that higher perspective. Go back and do it again. There's a single rider line. Go back and do it again. Now I mean, look, I still sit in the front even on single rider lines. That's just who I am. Uh, but you don't have to. You could take a different perspective, sit in a different seat. And if you're not having fun, if you're like, you know what, I tried this goddamn Tower of Terror out, that shit ain't for me. Nope, that is not my jam or motherfucking jelly. Well, now you know, but you did it. You did it. And then you can change your experience with it. You can say, you know what, I did. I did it. I was totally fucking afraid. I thought I was going to pee my pants. I thought I was going to puke. In fact, I got off and I like felt queasy afterwards. Okay, but you got to change your story with that, with what you feared at one point in time. So here's where this all comes together is this alignment, this chart, this May 18th, 6:40 a.m. Central Time is going to happen, and there is nothing that you can do to change it. This cacophony of sound occurring in May is going to happen. There is nothing that you can do to change it. How do you interact with it? That is what is within your control. I get a very strong sense of whimsy that is needed in this month, particularly on this day. It means having a playful, quaint, or fanciful behavior or humor on a whim, and a thing that is fanciful or odd. Whimsy is your friend. So we are going to head over to the 31st. Here is the chart for the 31st, and why I am highlighting this chart is look, here is our friend Mercury meeting up with Uranus for their conjunction. Again, Mercury will head into Gemini. Here you see Jupiter already in Gemini. Mercury will conjunct Jupiter in Gemini, and Mars is making his way through Aries and going to head into Taurus. And I believe that happens in June. Yep, June 8th. And then July, so June, Mars will get in. I digress. Let me go back to this Mercury and Uranus real quick. So this conjunction will occur. More noise, more sound. This is why this goes through the end of May. And when Mars in June 8th, when Mars hits Taurus, Mars is looking at the landscape that has been left over because now we're kind of breaking out our clusters. Our clusters are kind of moving away. Again, we do have a little bit of a Gemini cluster, but once Gemini cluster is done, we don't have this kind of compounded energy in these signs like we did over the first part of this year. We kind of, get away from all of that. So once this happens and we head into June, Mars is going to take stock of this landscape. So he kind of like comes into Taurus and is like, looks at, because it's been a motherfucking party in Taurus, right? Like this is a frat ass party right now. And Mars is going to come in and be like, what the fuck just happened here? What is happening? Whoa. I don't even know how to handle this. I'm getting the image of Thor Love and Thunder when Thor makes his way to Mount Olympus and like they get to see like the whole scene in the party and they're like, really, this is what the gods do? I feel like that's a little bit of what Mars is going to experience in June when he gets into Taurus. Um, but like, what is Mars going to see? Is he going to be disappointed? Is he going to be excited? Like, what is he going to see? And then when we head to, let me get month and let me just get into July. Hold on, let me get backwards because this is the end of July. Let me head to the 8th. Here we go, the 8th. Here we have Mars, making his way. This is where Mars crosses that 21-degree mark of the Jupiter Uranus conjunction. And then in July, here is the conjunction July 15th with Mars and Uranus. And again, when Mars gets into Gemini, that's when he will meet up with Jupiter. So I really saw Mars as part of this story as like Van Gogh's Starry Night. And, looking at Van Gogh's Starry Night, what is your experience with that picture? What is your experience with that form of artwork? And do you like it? Does it grow on you? Is it enough? Or did it turn into something else like the scream on a starry night where you add in this whole other individual? What is happening here? So that's all. I mean, look, we got space. This is July, y'all. We got space. Let's, like I'm all for this frat party. Like I'm down for this frat party, but look, I'm also grown. I'm grown AF. I do not need this loud ass music. I do not need cups not to be cleaned up. I don't need your goddamn red solo cups all over my goddamn couch. Like, I can put some parameters around this. We can still have a really great party. We can still have a really great time. But this is my house. So these are my rules. How are you going to work with that? How can this Saturn and Pisces sextile story that underlines all of this cuckoo clock of expansion and change? How is the Saturn sextiles being able to supportively provide those levels of boundaries, those levels of structures in this cacophony and in this story? All right, look, it is a changing. That's what we know. So, this is the point in the episode where I ask that if you are finding value in the information here today, hit that thumbs up or heart, subscribe or follow, and explore all of our other content. So, Twitchy tip of the week. Here we are at the end, my friends. In each episode, I end with the Twitchy tip of the week. This tip is random and completely comes to me through intuitive means. And this week, wow. Okay. Well, this was actually take two of this entire episode. So I am at 1 hour and 9 minutes. Yes, that's right. I did this. for the second time because the first time my mic wasn't on. So I recorded an entire Twitchy Tuesday episode, had all the things, ooh, stories and cards flying, and not 1 ounce of sound came out of that. So, is that frustrating? Yeah, of course. Of course. But here's what I realized. The twitchy tip of the week and this whole theme with these Taurus clusters is slow down to speed up. I was trying to fit recording this episode before my crone class. I was trying to get rushed so that way I could have this done so I could have my crone class and then have the rest of my afternoon. I needed to slow down. Because in slowing down, then I get to speed up in the future. I get to take stock, take time, make sure all of my components are working correctly, be sure all of the technology is working correctly. Um, I didn't slow down to listen to my intuition. And say, all right, with this take two, I didn't get to hear the messages that were coming in, and maybe I needed to have the experience to get the message. Not sure, can't go back and find out, but here we are. And another part of this message was, you know, I did this whole card spread in the last one, and it was like, that's not what you need to do. This was what you needed to do. Singular cards, singular stories. Adjust and change, be willing to be flexible, getting things out the way that they need to come out for the messages and the stories that we're going through, not the way the things that I want them to come out and come. It's a whole look, we are all growing together, even me, going through all the things. So slow down to speed up. That is one of my quickie tips of the week. The other one is all roads lead to Zion. And that kind of goes in that same realm. You are never not on the right road. It may be a road that might take a little bit longer. It might have more perils on that road. It might not be fucking paved. There's a lot of things. Roads come in many different shapes and sizes. However, all roads lead to Zion, your end, whatever that is for you, your purpose, your path, your existence, your passing, your coming through. All roads lead to this mark of who you are and your experience in this timeline, in this body, in this meat suit that you're wearing right now. So, just wanted to throw that out there. All right. We are done. That is it for episode 63. Thank you so much for joining me. May your days be filled with enchantment, your nights be guided by the stars, and your spirit forever be in tune with the cosmic dance. Keep your third eyes open, my fellow twitchy seekers. And until next time, blessed be and stay twitchy. Bye.
In the cosmic dance, where stars align, Milani guides us through signs divine, astrology secrets in the night sky, revealed in her sessions where mysteries lie.